So cool. You got your SIM card, you're working, you're rocking, you're popping, you're ready to freaking hit the town, you're ready to get a taxi. It's going to be pretty common for people to be hitting you up and to try to get you in their taxi, try to get you on their scooter. And I would say this, most of them are probably fine, but you don't know they're fine until something comes up. So I would say there's a couple different kinds of taxi scams. I personally highly recommend, while you are in Southeast Asia, you always use Grab, G-R-A-B, Grab. And a couple of the countries have sort of like local apps you can download, set up your payment stuff. But since Grab works everywhere, and I have my stuff already set up, like I highly recommend that. If for some reason Grab is unavailable, always, if you are going to get in a vehicle and you can't find like one of the main, like a reputable taxi company to get in, and it's like, oh, somebody's offering you a ride or whatever, obviously I would recommend not going, like wait, give it a little bit of time, don't be in too much of a rush. But if for some reason you are in a rush and something's happening, you gotta go to the hospital, who the fuck knows? One of the things you always want to make sure before you get in a vehicle is have them tell them exactly where you're going and have them agree to a price. And that's a last resort. Don't get it, I haven't had to do that one time. I haven't gotten a ride since I've been here that wasn't in a Grab, since I've been in Vietnam, just because I'm sketched out. There's two reasons. One of them is you might get ripped off. Two, they might take you somewhere you don't want to go and then do something you don't want to do, or take you somewhere you don't want to go, so they can charge you for that and then charge you for taking it back to the actual place you want to go. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to pay you extra for fucking me over. And then also just the simple fact that when you're using one of these ride sharing apps, the address is right in the system. They know exactly where to go. They don't have to ask you, don't have to explain, they don't get lost. It's such a hassle to grab a random taxi off of the street and then have to explain where you want to go, and then they always fucking fuck it up still. Especially considering as you go to different countries, the addresses are a little bit different. Here, as I talked about in my first 24 hours in Hanoi, Google here is super unreliable. So there's also going to be some level of, you might give an address that's not good anyway. And so you don't want to compound the fact that have an address that may be not exact. Also with the fact that you're with a guy that you can't even communicate with very well. So I would say, yeah, just use a ride-sharing app 99.9% of the time, and only deviate from that when it's an emergency situation of some variety, which, hopefully doesn't happen, but always have to be mindful and prepared for that. I know that this trip when I got here, and I always find this very frustrating how poor people's basic ability to observe others is and look at them and kind of have some sense of reality. I'm standing, when I showed up at the airport, I have all my bags, I have my luggage, and I'm standing right where taxis pick you up. And I have multiple guys walking up to me, asking me if I want a taxi, and then I have to reject them. And then another guy walks up and asks me if I want to have a taxi. And I'm just thinking, I wonder what they're actually thinking is going on in their head. Do they think I'm just standing here with all my luggage, being totally quiet, checking my phone because I don't know how to get anywhere? I'm in a place that's surrounded by taxis. If I didn't have a taxi and I wanted a taxi, there are plenty of options around that I would utilize. There's literally no situation where you'd ever have just someone standing out in front of the airport with all their bags, just sitting there, not looking around, and need a taxi and not know how to get one. There's no way that would ever happen. So I always find it silly when these street hustlers have absolutely no social awareness at all. I find it really annoying too. But Grab is great. Those people are great. They're always nice. They always get you where you need to go. Stick with Grab. You got an affiliate link, hook a brother up. Oh yeah, and then the best one was when I was at the airport and one of the guys was trying to holler at me. He kind of asked me a couple times and I said no. And then he went on to Google or something and he pulled up the image for the logo of Grab, enlarged it so that it was on his phone, and he showed it to me to try to trick me into thinking that he was a Grab driver, which is also very silly because it's does he think I just get into the vehicle of any Grab rather than ordering one? If I know what Grab is, then I probably know how to order one, which is, that's again, more funny crap. So needless to say, these taxi drivers, in many countries, but also in Vietnam, they got no compunction whatsoever about lying to you, tricking you. And that's if, and I haven't even dug into, because I've been around so much, I don't actually ever explore the con itself. But, a lot of times what will happen, especially if you get in a taxi and you don't agree to a price, they'll just make up a price once you arrive. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna haggle with them after they've already rendered the service. And that's what they're looking to do anyway. So that's why I would say if you ever in the half of a 1% chance you ever actually do take a non-ride sharing taxi, that you agree to the price before you get in the vehicle, sit on the scooter, whatever it is. Do not touch it, do not whatever. And then if you think you're getting ripped off in any situation, be assertive. You do not need to carefully explain to them why you're not getting into their little taxi or be nice or anything. Just tell them no, there's someone who is trying to rip you off. There's someone that is trying to screw you over. So you don't owe them anything. So just say no and walk away and don't look back. And if they follow you, just, be very assertive and get rid of them.